Hi, this is Odeean here. Today I've got my Smokescreen which has arrived, so I'll be having a look at the Transformers Masterpiece Prowl mould. I didn't review these one by one because they're so similar. I just thought I would hit them in one go. Although they are very similar, there are distinct differences that make the characters stand out. So if you look at Streak here, he's got see-through roof windows. Pretty nice. Smokescreen, he's got a fast pack, or I don't know what you call that, a body kit on the front portion here, and as well as this spoiler on the back. And finally Prowl has got his light bar because he's a police officer, and they've all got their own unique paintwork, including some nice crisp decals, or are they paint? I think they're actually paint on these two. These cars are based on the very old Nissan Fairlady Z, different versions, with this being the production model that you might have seen zipping around in the 80s, if you can remember back that far. Prowl being based on one that probably never existed, at least the vast majority of Fairlady Zs didn't end up being a police car. And a rally car, which in my opinion Smokescreen is the real winner out of the bunch here, because his paint job is just so beautiful. I've heard that there's been some QC issues on the odd rare, seemingly rare instance of these. I've had no QC problems on any one of these three. You can see here that the paint on my Smokescreen in particular is so shiny and really lustrous, deep red. It's almost like a model car that you might buy, forgetting about robot mode altogether. And this is up there with the best cars I've seen. You could put this on display just in car mode and no one would have a second thought. Any guests to your house would just think, oh look, it's a car, pretty cool. No hairs in the paint, no scratches, no bubbles. I think that Takara Tomy have really learned lessons from what went on with the Sideswipe or Lambo mold. These guys are just superb. Streak's two-tone paint job is also done really well, and you'll notice that there's a black line of paint right down the side here. So the application of this paint is not separated by molded detail, and they've managed to get that line so crisp and so straight that it is pretty amazing. I mean, I've seen a lot of Transformers that can't pull off that degree of crispness on an edge of paint. So credit to Takara Tomy, they've really stepped it up quite a high notch with these. If you look carefully at the windows on these roof windows, you can see there's some kind of techno detail underneath. I'm not sure if that's a byproduct of the molding, the way it is connected underneath, or it's intentional. Either way, I like it. The Autobot symbol is also done pretty well at the front, and you can see there, or maybe you can't, that's in focus like that, a nice little Z, Fairlady Z. The Prowl mold is also done really nicely. One thing different from previous MP cars is that the light bar I don't think is removable. When I transformed it, it seemed that this was on a pin, so unlike Lambo's mold with the red alert light bar, this one isn't going to come off. Now the other guys have a little section here which can be flipped around to leave a peg sticking up that you can attach something to, but not with Prowl. Prowl's Autobot symbol is done particularly crisp and nice. It's really beautiful to look at. So I'm kind of lingering on these car modes a long time for you to get a nice feel of how beautiful they are to look at. It just seems a pity to even have to transform these. And if the robot modes weren't so good, I would leave these in car modes. I just wish that I had another set so that I could have one in each mode because they're so attractive. The only lacking area I would find in these car modes is that there are no license plates. I would have liked the option to have some stickers to give them registration, but they do have blank spaces for that, so I'm sure we could pick some up from somewhere. Here's a direct comparison with Lambo. And the first thing that just jumps straight out at me, and I'm not sure if it comes through on camera, is that with Lambor, the paint has a tendency to show through the undercolor, and even though it's very evenly applied on my one, I can see kind of a blackness coming through here. With Smokescreen, it just looks perfect. It's almost as if it was cooked on. It's solid and smooth, and I can't see any undercolor whatsoever. So maybe they have done a base coat, but the red is applied so well that it's perfect. I really love the gloss on these. I love the fact that we can get toys that actually have enough paint. They may cost 10 times as much almost, but we do get painted rims. Or are they molded in silver plastic? I can't tell. Here's a size comparison with another guy I got in the same delivery. Trace from Toy World. I wasn't going to get this guy. I ended up getting him, but I'll get into that in a different review. I don't think they scale very well together, so that's a bit sad. Trace looks better, obviously, with mainline Transformers. These Masterpiece are more a thing unto themselves. Time to do the transformation. Okay, where to begin? Just going to pop this back section out like that. Don't want to go too far because these side parts are going to collide with the roof. As well as that, what I like to do is grab the two wheels and bend these sections down like that. That'll just give you room to spread open the arms, and you can go ahead and extend his arms all the way out like this. At this point we can flip up this guard, which will let the head partially come out. We want to turn over the front and pop up the hood, and you can see that's where the head is going to go through like this. Next we want to split these legs a little bit to give us a little bit of working room, and open up these door panels to create some more space. There's panels on the inside of the leg that if you put this bit up you can grab a hold of more easily, so we're going to do that on both sides, although the side that doesn't have the exhaust pipe is a little bit more tricky. Once these are up in the air, you'll be able to extend out the thigh by unfolding the knee joint, and you can see there what starts to happen. It all slides out sideways, which is pretty cool. You want to fold up this panel on the inside, just kind of get it like that, so that panel covers the gap but not on top, it just touches underneath, and that at the back folds down. The panel that we put out to give us clearance can now fold back in like this, forming the inner surface of the foot, and the little undersection that had the exhaust pipe on it goes back to form the heel. A little bit of adjustment to the knee to get it in the right spot, and that's basically it. Do the same thing on the other side. And we have two legs. Grab this groin area and carefully turn it around. We want to do this now before any more transformation, otherwise we're going to have collisions. Fold up this panel that let the head move through, and you can see that the head is going to be able to tab down onto that if you align it properly. Or is it the, maybe it's not the head, maybe it's the bonnet that's going to snap down on that. Either way, the goal is to get these side pieces up and the bonnet down at the same time. So it's a good idea to push it from underneath like I'm doing there, and then it should lock in nice and snug if you got it right. What am I doing wrong here? There we go. Grab the shoulders and rotate them around to the correct position. And we're almost there. Turning him around to the back, fold out these parts, which are going to connect to his shoulder-mounted rocket launchers. Carefully fold the front section of the hood in, and that is a little bit delicate, just like with G1. Maybe not quite as bad as G1, but I am a bit cautious with this. And that's it. Done. I did actually just miss a step. You can see the little grooves at the side up here. They actually folded around under the head. I only noticed it after I got all these guys transformed that I didn't show that. It is a very minor step. And one other thing that I just want to mention is that this red panel, where it locks in, is not perfectly straight. You can see for it to lock into the front of the bonnet, it does actually sit at an angle, not straight how it is in vehicle mode. Okay, other than that, we have a few aesthetic things. You can just leave it like that with the doors down after transformation, but if you want a little bit more cartoon accuracy, they can tilt up like that, so we do get that very G1 look. There are also rocket launchers on Streak and Prowl. They just fold up like this. You get two. They're pretty weak looking. They look like an incomplete feature. I mean, I guess they've done the best they could do with the space. The cool thing is that there's a couple of third-party add-ons I've got pre-ordered that are going to join on to where those are, so we can get some really G1 looking rocket launchers. Or I think there was an Amazon exclusive that you could have bought to get one single rocket launcher. Either way, I don't have that just yet, so I'm eagerly awaiting some more accurate, cartoon accurate weapons. As well as that, the shoulders on Smokescreen are oriented in a different way, and it's not just a matter of I transformed them differently, they're actually a different piece. So if you look at the two pieces here, it's a separately molded piece. And they're not fake wheels, they're the actual wheels, just connected in a different point. The head sculpts are also unique for each one. I'll show them one at a time. Here we've got Smokescreen with a very retro G1 thick neck, just like the animation model. Here's Prowl, and again, so good. He looks like he walked straight out of the comic. Really says Prowl. I don't think we're ever going to get a better Prowl than what we've got with this guy. And finally, Streak. So he does look as well as I can recollect him, although he's not in that many close-ups in the show as far as I can remember, so he's not very prominent in my mind. I'm hoping that's accurate, but I'm not 100% sure. The three hand rifles are also sculpted differently, and thank goodness they are color-coded to match at the handle, otherwise I would never remember which goes with which. So just showing them one at a time. We've got Prowl's gun. Next. Streak's gun. And finally, Smokescreen's gun. Smokescreen also comes with these unique shoulder-mounted weapons, which look very much like how they looked in the cartoon. So I'm just going to whack them on now for you to have a look. It does make a difference which way you put them on. One way is the right way, and one way will cause you to wreck the paint. So this little notch has to face the outside, and this zigzag piece goes inside of it. You just push it in, then that will give clearance here for the little tab at the back to bend down. And there we have it. The Gambler. Or at least that's the only memory I have of Smokescreen in the cartoon. But it's a pretty awesome episode. Now all we need is some, what are they called? Sleazoids or something? One of those aliens to go with this guy. Maybe Impossible Toys, if they could come back out of business, could pump out some of those aliens for us. That would be awesome. Here's a size comparison with my KO Tiger Track. Just a fraction smaller, maybe a few millimeters shorter from head to toe measurement. And to show that it's not just the head, this guy, it actually shows up even more on Streak. If I stand him up straight, he's still a little bit smaller still. It's a surprisingly good fit with gears, iGears cogs. Maybe he could be gears could be a little bit taller, maybe up to here, but for my shelf, I really like the robot mode of this cogs, and he fits perfectly with these masterpiece cars, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, maybe one day we'll get a better one, but for now, I'm pretty damn happy with this. And of course, Optimus Prime needs his lieutenant. So unfortunately, just like with pretty much everything else, MP-10 is a little bit too high to be comfortably in the same shelf. It may be accurate to the G1 Bible, but it looks a little bit wrong. Still, a lot better than if you had MP-1, that's for sure. My final thoughts. These are fantastic. You really need to get these. Classics are gone. This is the new classics. Masterpiece may be expensive, but once you buy a Masterpiece version out of these latest Masterpieces, there is no need to ever pick up that character again unless it goes through a major redesign. Because if it's G1 aesthetic and look and soul you want, then this is the place to be these days. Let's hope that with the replacement of the designer, I can't remember his name at the moment, we can continue this streak of awesome figures that we've had with the cars so far. I'm going to just briefly touch on cost. So I ordered all of these from BBTS and subsequently one by one cancelled all of these from BBTS, and I've got nothing against them. I love that shop, it's terrific, but their prices have just been really high, about $80 each, and I understand why. I mean, they've got to ship them from one side of the world to the other in a timely fashion so people still want to buy them, and they have to hedge their bets against currency going up and down with these relatively expensive pieces. So I understand what's going on there, but I just don't need to pay that much. And like a lot of other people, I've been just getting this from sellers in either Hong Kong or straight from Japan. And I think the total that I've paid for all of these is about $75 shipped each. And for me to get from BBTS with the shipping, it probably comes to about maybe $90 each. So that's a significant saving over the three figures. Probably I'm going to continue that trend with whatever Masterpieces come out. And I really feel bad for BBTS. I hope there's something they can do about it in the future to get back all this Masterpiece business. This has been odeean with my video review for Transformers Masterpiece, Prowl, Smokescreen and Streak. Thank you for watching.